government. Every government speaker to date has spoken about what Labor's doing, not what National's doing. Not what National's doing. You would think that Labor was still the government. They have no plan, no idea, and in fact they don't know what they're doing. That's why they have to talk about Labor. People listening to this general debate would be very, very disappointed by that fact that that the National members refuse to talk about their own ideas. Why? Because they're ashamed. And we just heard that a good housekeeper knows what's in the kitchen cupboard. Problem is that when National was last in government, they left the cupboard bare. So people know what they're going to get when they get National. Mr Speaker, I want to talk about and highlight a concern that is very dear to my heart, and that's what's happening within our whānau and in our communities with our rangatahi. What's happening to our rangatahi? I'm concerned at the lack of jobs for young people, and especially Māori and Pacific youth out there in our communities. When we look around in every community, we see young people who are full of hope, full of creativity. They're looking for opportunities. Sadly, this government is letting them down. Māori youth unemployment is up, and that's a tragedy. Pacific youth unemployment is up, and that's a tragedy. Youth employment per se throughout the whole country is up, and I want to know what this government is doing about it, because they should be doing more, Mr Speaker. They should be doing more. In fact, while they're posturing on that side of the House talking about Labour, they should be accountable to the many young people who are promoting the politics of aspiration to. And when we look at the unemployment rate, we're concerned because in 2008, under Labour's watch, unemployment was at 4.7%, and that figure's increased to about 7.3% under National's watch at this current level. Mr Speaker, currently 168,000 people are on the unemployment benefit. 168,000, the highest in 10 years under National's watch. Since National took office, unemployment has increased by a huge 54.7%, or 60,000 in the last 8 quarters. Those figures represent people all over New Zealand, many who want to work, but the simple fact is the jobs aren't there. Why? Because the government has no plan to grow the economy and create the jobs that are needed so that our young people, so that those people who want to work can get it, because there just aren't the jobs available. The government should be doing more on that front. They should be saying to the House, this is our plan to grow the economy and create jobs, but sadly they don't. Instead, they quip at Labour as if Labour was still the government, and they refuse the responsibility that they currently have, which is to provide real opportunities, real jobs to those many young people out in our community. Full of symbolism, little action, empty promises and hollow gains, and that's what that government is currently doing. More importantly, the shocking numbers of young people who are unemployed in our communities are staying at school longer. That is the feedback that we're given. But what those same communities will tell you is that even if they stay at school longer, our reality is that we can't pathway them into the jobs in our communities because they're simply not there. We need better vision and better hope and better opportunities at a community provincial level. And those are the types of feedback that I get from schools in Morrinsville, in Te Kuiti, in Taumaranui, in Huntly. Mr Speaker, this government should be doing more on that front. We hear about Community Max as a government initiative response, but many of the providers who have gone into this initiative are saying this is a short-term fix to a long-term solution. The real investment has to be into education and training for our young people, their career pathway, linking them to learning opportunities for life and better job prospects. But again, you need a thriving economy with jobs out there so that the young people can get into them. Community Max is a short-term fix to a long-term problem. Sustainable employment for our young people. We hear about the Youth Guarantee and better transitioning of young people to training and employment initiatives, linking them up with business, linking them up with tertiary education providers. Even in the linking up, provincial towns will tell you that where transport is an issue, where you're going to have a difficulty in transporting young people an odd 30 kilometres to get to where they need to, that things aren't working. This government has done little.